Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Pearson, and I'm joined by Michael Hill.
In a few months, y'all will catch these hands and arms.
Oh man, it's a pun, but not at the same time. Fucking love it. Okay. All right. Let's get right into it. Today's topics are also intermixed with news, but we're going to do topics first because, that's normally what we fucking do anyway. Okay. Topic 1. Sega has made new declarations recently claiming that they will be reviving fan favorite franchises due to fan demand in an effort to establish trust. That last part they didn't say, in an effort to establish trust, but let's be honest, that's what the fuck they're doing. Now, that being said, let me ask, do you think this will work? Why or why not? Also, if you think it will, what franchises do you think they need to start with? Hill?
I think it's going to work perfectly. And to start off, they should bring back more of the older Sonic titles. Because right now, I think you can get Sonic CD, Sonic 4, and then Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. While other people might have been... Even though they suck, it would have been funny to have their other titles like Sonic R or Sonic Pinball, and there's the other one I can't... Sonic Shuffle, there it is. It's like a Mario Kart ripoff. I also think...
Damn.
What, Sonic Shuffle?
No, I'm just like, those fact that you called it a Mario Party ripoff, but I mean, you're kind of not wrong.
I also want to... Because there was a game that was in the first X-Cross game. It was like Valkyrie something. And I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know it belonged to Sega either. Can't think of older titles because I wasn't around too much. Because when I was coming into age, the PS2 was a thing and most Sega titles have died off. Crazy Taxi was a good one.
I still see those machines, man. Good times.
Maybe if they're kind, they'll fucking bring Fantasy Star into English. Piece of shit.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. You could play it. Got translations these days.
I know this. Just take out my phone to read every... That sucks.
There's actually a whole Discord now that's devoted to helping people get in the game. Also, it's run by the same people who designed the English translation hack.
Nice.
Oh, and you're going to love this. Now, they're not going to be able to see it, but I'll probably put it up on the screen. But there's actually Phantasy Star cosplayers at every Acing, I think, for the past, I want to say, 6-ish years. Let me see if I can drop this in.
Oh, that is another title they damn well better bring back.
What?
The fucking Knights trilogy, man.
Oh, you want it to be a trilogy?
Yes. Well, I want to... Yeah, just the whole Knights that they had of, like, Knights and then Knights into Dreams. Because there was the one for the Sega Genesis.
Saturn.
There was the one for the Wii. When the Wii first came out, like, when I was in fucking 6th grade.
Want to hear something funny?
What?
Guess who one of the beta testers was for Knights?
Who?
Steven Spielberg.
Wow.
Yeah. They actually nicknamed the controller, because they didn't have a name for it, the Spielberg. Because they would bring it out for him anytime, he wanted to play the game.
That's what they need to do. Knights for sure. Bring it back.
Okay. Well, that being said, I guess it's time for me to give my 2 cents on it. I'm sure it goes without saying I'm one of the older motherfuckers in this thing, but that means I'm able to remember the glory days of Sega. There was a time, according to one of the only companies that does statistic on it, back in the 90s where Sonic was more recognizable than fucking Mickey Mouse. And I do mean more recognizable. Not to mention one of the rare / few video game characters who had their own parade float. Yeah, he was that big. No pun intended. A little bit. So for me though, I think that it is entirely possible, but I think they have to be very smart and very selective, because there are companies that Sega owns or is under Sega's umbrella that people completely forget that Sega has a hand in or even made, because you probably won't even see their name on the fucking box. Game franchises or studios such as Arc System Works, famous for Guilty Gear and BlazBlue, Atlas, which famous for the Shin Megami Tensei, the Persona series, and I think one other thing that I'm forgetting. And of course, being one of the owners, or at least, major distributing hands of Platinum Games. So it's entirely possible for them to unfuck their situation. But as we all know, sometimes somebody who just only gives a shit about money shows up. So my main question is, who do they have behind the scenes right now? Because if they have people behind the scenes who care about making quality products, not people who care about trying to piss money as fast and easy as possible, which is never a long-term thing, it's always short-term, then it's entirely possible. And as far as what I think they should bring back, I'm gonna just say right now, Overworks Studio. Now I know you don't know that team, but let me tell you about their storied history. Overworks Studio was an accident Sega made, and I mean that in the purest form. Overworks Studio is a studio, in-house studio from Sega that made hit after hit after hit game under their umbrella, and they got credit for it. And then Sega just decided to absorb them back into the company, separate all the members, practically disbanding everything. Basically, they did what Clover Studios was doing. They pulled a Capcom, but instead of trying to abandon, kill off all the franchises and absorb Clover Studios back in, and everyone quit, that last little part didn't happen. But the problem with that is I left a lot of stuff up in the air, and I don't mean up in the air as in, dormant franchise. I mean up in the air as in they were starting to make sequels for everything that they had and did, and then all of a sudden, Sega's just like, fuck it. But of course, that was during a regime change, and as we all know, it was a shitty regime change, which led to things like Sonic 06, which still hurts my balls to this day. So much potential. But anyways, besides other things they were known for were things like Jet Set Radio. By the way, the original only had 13 people on the fucking team for the whole game, which is one of the reasons we got Jet Set Radio Future, because it was never a full fleshed out game. They weren't even sure it was going to sell. They had a micro budget, but Future came out, and that's when everything, got scaled up. Don't think of it as a sequel, more as an instant remake or a very speedy remake. They also made a legendary RPG by the name of Skies of Arcadia, which sequel was already in pre-production for the Wii, and they got absorbed, and again it got left in the air. And they've done just so much good shit for Sega, only to basically, be driven into the dirt. And there are company members who were depressed and sad / bitter for a very long time after that happened. And you know what? If they can bring stuff like that back, and also Streets of Rage, let's be honest, they got Platinum Game Studios engines right there. They can go and take Bayonetta out of all that shit and put Streets of Rage in there, and it would sell. Not to mention, everybody loves co-op Devil May Cry style games. The problem is the problem is they never happen. And if they do happen, they're on a shitty scale. I'm looking at you, Ninja Turtles. God, so much potential, and it sucks so bad. They could have patched so many things, but didn't. Ugh, that hurts my soul a little bit. And they're trying to break the Sonic cycle, and they're also aware of the Sonic cycle. So realistically, it is entirely possible for them to turn this shit around. They just have to be smart. And they know they aren't smart. That's why they did the fan polls. And I'm glad they did do the fan polls. Even though it was in Japanese, I Google translated it. And I made sure I put my 2 cents in on the fan page. Anyways, Yeah, I honestly feel like they could pull this shit off easily. Let me tell you something, man. I know, or I don't think you ever played Skies of Arcadia, but they did a remake for it for the GameCube. And, well, through the magic of emulation, or hell, if you got a Wii laying around somewhere, I'm telling you, man, play that shit. Play the fuck out of that shit. There aren't too many air pirate fucking RPGs, period. Let alone ones that are fucking good. Actually, I'll take that back. I think there's only one air pirate game, and that's it. Yes, there are games that feature air pirates, but there aren't games where it was an RPG about air pirates and airships. The closest you get is like maybe 1 or 2 chapters in the occasional Final Fantasy game where somebody owns an air pirate ship, but it's never about them. It's just a means to travel the world, really. All right, on to topic 2. Virtual console games or lack thereof. We're in a day and age where all published titles can be backed up and distributed online. However, this is not the case for system titles. Do you feel like emulation will become legalized to help accommodate virtual storage of media, or will it remain the enemy of major publishers who themselves still don't cloud store all their titles for purchase? Hill.
This topic is interesting because we all seem to come back to a full circle of how we should deal with emulate. But to my answer, I think they should. Because again, we have seen people only emulate games people can't get anymore. Because higher companies saying, all right, we have a new console, let's forget everybody, situation, whether they're broken, can only afford this one, or what have you. Even not them, just the future technologies, the people want to make the best TV or the best computer, just cycles out all the very old shit, because it's getting harder and harder to find a TV with 3 80 GeForce now.
Yep.
Just saying, help these people who are keeping the dream alive of everybody and I'm only playing Pokemon Red, but when you can't get the fucking Game Boy anymore. Or older people who are like, I'm only playing Smash Bros on the 64 or GameCube. Just help people out. Just work with these people, trying to put them down on shit you know you could make money off of. And don't just discredit them either, because they said even though y'all are helping to keep these games on a file, you're still like using our games so you don't get any money. No, they managed to make everything you've done and leave nothing out, and probably even fix the shit you didn't look out. You're just trying to make a quick buck. Fixed everything and said, here, you can play this game whenever you want to now on your computer. I even got like 2 emulators on my shit right now.
Well, technically you're not a member of the company, and I use that loosely, so we ain't got to worry about nobody coming up our ass if you talk about emulation or trying to ban us from selling their products and shit. I will say this though, you're not wrong, man. You're totally not wrong, but also at the same time, it's like the video game companies don't know what the fuck to do, or we're so far under their radar that they only care if a lawyer does or says something, because they're like bored in the office all day. Fun fact, did you know all the video games you own, you don't actually own? You have a physical license that can be revoked at any point in time. Not sure how the fuck they would do it with an old game. If they feel like you are violating their terms of service or in general. Yeah. So, just a hypothetical. You like Devil May Cry 3, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And let's say you want to get Devil May Cry HD Collection, which isn't bad. But due to the fact that the street date got broke by almost 7 days in this country, you can't find the game for less than $200 from a scalper. Now, do you know what that's called besides bullshit?
What?
It's called the gray market. Gray market, by definition, is when someone like, me, a distributor, or a seller, has a product, and the product you're selling is being sold in a methodology or way that was not intended by the person you got it from. When a Nintendo makes amiibo, one, they know they can't meet the demand, but two, half of that is because people buying it are storing them and turning around and trying to sell them for a profit. Besides being called scalpers, that's also considered gray market, because it's not a retailer who's trying to sell it with a buy it now price. Those are fine. It's those guys, and they have to compete with buy it now people who want to buy up everything and warehouse everything and then turn around and sell that shit for a profit. Now, technically it's not illegal, but a lot of companies try to fend against it. In fact, if memory serves, in the Nintendo store specifically, no matter what amiibo you purchase, I believe it is 2 per person of duplicates or 1 per person for duplicates. Something like that. But when you're on the internet, how the fuck you going to enforce that? You're not. So they have that little bullshit system in place. And the thing about that bullshit system is that the people who do it almost catch no hell for it, but the companies do. I can't tell you how many times I've seen somebody go online and piss him on and whine about, I can't get my amiibo. Make YouTube videos about it, dogging Nintendo, but then you want them to kiss your ass. Like, I honestly don't get that logic. I don't get that logic at all. And then other people just repeat this shit and believe it, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. Makes no sense to me whatsoever. But yeah, now let's say you were going to go emulate this game and you got your PS3 all rigged up to play the game that you had no problem buying or that you previously owned. Let's say you got 1, 2, and 3 on the PS2, but you get HD collection. They can go in, see your shit, block your shit, and possibly try to get your PlayStation Network account banned. You know why? Because you violated their terms of service for a licensed video game. And here's the thing about the license. The licenses can be revoked at their will and discretion. And this has been a thing since basically the end of the goddamn 90s. Fucked up, ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we're going to take a little break on our final topic, and we're going to go into news while I try to go and get this other straggler. Go ahead and talk about your news topics.
The first news topics is Jeff has finally heard our fight. For those of you who have decided to play Overwatch, he has heard our pleas and our anger. They are reworking the Overwatch loot box system for Overwatch and their events, because the Overwatch team actually decides to follow the Reds and realizes that this is total insanity on how these drops come through. They're still on it, but so actually going to go in and really look into how to fix getting these to work, instead of y'all going in, depending on how much money you want to play, or you play a lot of the arcade games, and you stack up loot boxes, and you get a bunch of them, and you just keep getting spray after repeat spray after whisk line you don't use, and a bunch of stuff you get this you're not even using, like character skin you're not going to play, voice line you're not going to use. It's just aggravating. Now they're actually going to work. Also now, for my Monster Hunter people, in the upcoming time, the newest Monster Hunter game will be compatible for 3DS and Switch. So Switch owners like you can actually
what?
Go in and actually do what you did for Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate for the Wii U. Cross compatible, create a character on your 3DS and put it on your Switch, vice versa. So you can get your grind on, get your grind on.
Monster Hunter, I'm not going to say it sucks. Everyone and their mom wants to get me in on it, but every time I look at it, it just feels like more gotta catch 'em all fever type shit. Not that I have anything against Pokemon other than the fact that don't tell me I gotta catch 'em all when you've designed it to where I fucking can't. But one, their title systems get on my nerve because I can never tell what's new shit and the old shit. I have to go by what's on the system, but if the system has like more than one game, it's like Kirby syndrome all over again. Like, what the fuck am I doing right now? It's annoying. But, you know, I won't hold it against anybody. Personally, though, I will say that if it plays anything like the MMO, or if they put in classes like the MMO, I might touch it, because there's a class in the MMO that's not in any other game, and I kind of fucking love that shit. It's an air pressurized Tonfa user, and they can jump off of enemies or jump up them. It's fucking insane. You got to see it. Much like Phantasy Star, the Monster Hunter MMO is in a situation where they're not releasing it in America, but everybody fucking wants it. And just for a little bit of clarification, because I know it can drive you up a fucking wall, especially when you don't get an explanation and they always say, oh, we're considering it. Here's the cold hard truth, because, well, the shit hasn't changed. The literal structure of how the internet is made, handled, produced, and programmed in Japan is drastically and wildly different from America. Period. Of course, some things are still the same, like, you know, servers holding data for characters, server data showing up on your computer. Your ping determines how fast or long shit takes to do stuff, blah, 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 blah. Something is different. So that's why we have certain Monster Hunter games. I believe there was one in particular for the PSP that never came over here because the way the net coding would have been too expensive. And that was also Sega's excuse for not bringing Phantasy Star Online 2, even though they had already made and gave it an English fucking website and brought it to E3 once. Their excuse was it costs too much to create internet servers in America. Now here's my other problem with this bullshit statement, at least in the case of Phantasy Star. But I guess you can apply it to Monster Hunter, since they borrowed code from Phantasy Star universe to even make Monster Hunter in the first place. You can put in a fucking offline mode. Or they could have just made the whole game offline co-op if it was really that expensive to go the fuck online. And someone can bring over their memory card to play with you. Matter of fact, you don't remember this, but back in 1999, fucking when Phantasy Star Online first version came out, that's what you had to do for co-op. Phantasy Star Online version 1.2 or version 2.0, you could load up to 4 characters into one save file without being online. And you did that via memory cards in the slots on the GameCube. Now, the GameCube version came out 2001 when this shit happens. 2001. By the way, people went and made their own fucking private service and you can still play that shit online. But it's 2001. What the fuck is stopping Sega and Capcom in 2017 other than egos and not understanding if you give them a monthly subscription, they will come? Because free-to-play might sound cool, and I understand it and I get it, but here's the thing about free-to-play. Free-to-play doesn't always mean fair to play. For example, I love Phantasy Star Online 2 to death. I'm glad I have access to it, and I feel very fortunate that my accounts have not been fucked with. But this is the only Phantasy Star game ever where you have to pay money to trade between players. Not yourself, but with other players. They took a key feature of any RPG and they stuck a price tag on it. And it's not permanent when you buy it either. So, yeah, that's the sad truth. But at the same time, again, there's no excuse for them to not make a fucking offline story mode and shit like that. It's not like they haven't done it before. Every single Phantasy Star, including the ones that first started online, because Phantasy Star Online is the first console MMO, had an offline story mode. It had offline co-op. It had an online story mode. It had online co-op. And it's still to this day one of the few games in the GameCube library that rarely depreciates in fucking value. And I do mean that. If I had it right the fuck now, even though I don't have a GameCube or Wii to play it in, I wouldn't get rid of it. Hell, I'd probably, as we said earlier, get a goddamn emulator and play that bitch. Anyways, That's just how it is. I don't. That's the main reason. All right, so you got any other news topics?
No, that's it. Cross compatibility of the 3DS and Switch for the new Monster Hunter. Still waiting for a localized version because Monster Hunter Cross was translated into Monster Hunter Generations, which I mean, it makes sense for the older Monster Hunter crowd because everybody, when I was watching the trailers and the older videos for Monster Hunter Generations, aka Monster Hunter Plus, when it first came out, it was like, oh yeah, I remember that village in the older games. I'm like, you know what? I've only played 3 when it first came out on the Wii, and that's how I found out about Monster Hunter. So, I don't know any of these root towns right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I wonder how they're gonna localize it. Are they gonna call it double generation or something, or they just keep the double cross title? Because I didn't like it how they just changed it to generations when they just have jetpacks on the screen.
Well, you know they're not gonna go to Triple X. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I got a few stories. Now this one, it does nothing for me, but I'm gonna just toss this out there to the people that are Hideki Kamiya fans or at least fans of his work, because I'm not sure I respect him as an adult, but his work and body of work is pretty damn good. All right. What was that game called that he just made that got canceled? The one with the dragons?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Scalebound. Scalebound, which was a joint venture between Platinum Games, or really Hideki Kamiya from Platinum Games, and Microsoft's first party division, was canceled about 3-4 weeks ago, maybe 2 months, I'm not sure. But Microsoft recently renewed the license, or renewed the name license, or copyright, trademark, whatever it's called. So Platinum didn't get contacted though to be involved with the system any further. So to their knowledge, the game wasn't even shelved, it was canceled. That being said, why the fuck would they renew it? So now there's a bit of a, whatchamacallit, there's a bit of a rumor going around that they might be shopping the game around to other companies that might be able to finish it and do what Microsoft wanted them to do. So let me ask you, you're a big company attached to $1 billion company. You cancel a game, but you renew the name. What's going through your head? Hill.
Say it again.
I said, you're a big name company. You just canceled the game, but 2 months ago or 2 weeks ago, but you renewed the trademark for the name. And you're not contacting the original developer and studio you had helping you. What do you think they're planning?
They're gonna use their guys, but they're gonna use their developers, but use their licensing title to say this team made the game when they really used the people under their team to make the game. That's how I'm seeing it right now, because that's a dirty low as blow. Like, how you just gonna renew their licensing?
Well, to answer that rhetorical question, but it actually does have an answer. It's due to the fact that fucking, I don't know if you realize it, but it's like I said earlier, Hideki Kamiya has a mouth problem. He's one of those people that, for lack of a better term, hides behind the internet, even though he's not hiding. Now, the problem with that is when you start talking shit about your employers, even if they're commission work, he was still talking shit. In fact, one of his one of his tweets, which you can pull up with the Wayback Machine or just YouTube Scalebound drama, was that these Microsoft fucks don't know anything. He said something along those lines. Obviously, they saw shit like that. Not to mention, he's well known in the company for speaking to fucking people on the internet like that. Like they know flat out. So it's nothing too uncommon. It's nothing too uncommon. But he's one of the only developers who acts and thinks that way, at least in public or in a public setting. So that's most likely. Remember, he did say this was his quote unquote dream game that, you know, if he ever had the money, time, and budget for it, he would make in a heartbeat. So I know it can seem like a dick move, but you got to understand, you're being a dick to the people that hire you to do something. So who's really at fault in a situation like that? I'm not too sure. All I know is I've seen the way he talked to people. Yeah, sometimes people straight up pick a fight with him online and he could say some funny shit to them. But then there are other times where people are being genuine and sincere and he's a fucking dick about it. And then his favorite thing to say or have quote posted up is, I don't care what you think. If I block you, don't take it as a big deal. It's not important. But then you go and comment and say weird shit, and I'm just like, what? It's like someone stuck in between being a man and a child. I don't know if there's a name for that. So yeah, that's pretty much what that situation was. Now, the other topic was Token Games is having a little bit of a celebration. We recently have rented out a bar / bowling alley / restaurant. Yeah, those are a thing. In Chicago, Illinois, and we will be hosting a Smash Brothers themed party where you can win a mini Nintendo. A real one, not some bootleg shit. As well as possibly having a door prize being a $100 Amazon gift card. So yeah. Details will probably be in the description, and if not in the description, check the comments. I don't have the bowling alley's address in front of me, but if you're in the Chicagoland area and you want to kill a weekend, I got a cure for what ails you. Smash. The only place you should settle it. Mm-hmm. Now, besides that, last little tidbit. Now, this one is more of a speculation / I want your personal opinion. But as we all know, Marvel's Netflix shows are fucking stupid good. Except for one, Iron Fist, are stupid fucking good. But The Defenders, which combines every single main franchise Marvel show that's come out, with the exception of the Punisher show, which comes out after The Defenders, comes out in a few months, or really a few weeks. Now, my question to you is, what do you think is going to come after that besides the Punisher? Like, what character you think next, or would you like to see get a fucking Marvel Netflix show? Because right now, the current rumors are Blade, some version of the Ghost Rider, or a completely new character. And by new character, I don't mean someone made up on the spot. I mean someone who normally isn't even involved and is a character that's not even that old yet in the Marvel history. And also, who you want to see. I know we've asked a similar question, but now that we got these concrete, well, not concrete, now that we got some rumors from the rumor mill, I'm curious if your opinions have changed.
Alright, so I'd like a Ghost Rider one, so everybody can burn away the memory of Nicolas Cage as the Ghost Rider. I thought that movie was cool because of the guy on the motorcycle, he's got the chain and fire and shit, but then it's like, I played him in Marvel vs. Capcom thing was like Nicolas Cage did not do him justice at all.
Hell to the no.
Like, what the fuck is this shit? So I hope they actually get somebody who actually fits the bill on the lore and what Ghost Rider needs to be. Another thing I'd like to see is a Blue Beetle adaptation.
We're talking about Marvel, not DC.
Oh, shit.
That's not a bad choice, though.
Anyway, for Marvel, questions. Ghost Rider would be one. What was his name?
Describe
Nova.
him.
There it is.
Nova?
Nova.
Okay. Also, on a side note, you know Blade got fucked out of MVC3.
He did. That's so fun.
Dude, well, there's a lot of shit we got fucked out of, but the thing is that most people didn't catch it because they weren't following it as heavily as I was. Because I'm sure you've realized by now, I grew up on that shit, so it held a special place in my heart. Period. But when the game first came out, and it was an announcement made by the actual person who was head of it, I think it was Ryota Nitsima, the same person who headlined Tatsunoko versus Capcom. He stated that there would be an actual story mode for the first time ever, or at least the first time since Marvel superheroes. There would be a genuine storyline. Characters would interact with each other outside of battle talk. There would be cutscenes and shit like that. It would be one cohesive story. And there would be modes outside of, arcade and online co-op. Or online versus. Obviously, a lot of that shit didn't happen. But it was mainly due to the licensing problems that happened really, really, really early on after he made that statement. But obviously, a lot of that's getting fixed in MVC4. Because first off, they started on it before they told anybody. Which is why it's coming out so early. People think it's rushed or something like that. Because, they want to make 90% of the characters paid for via DLC. No, they just started on it and didn't tell nobody. And the only reason they really lost the licensing or had issues with the licensing was because of Disney Infinity. Yes, it wasn't actually because of Fox. It was because of Disney Infinity. Now, that being said, Blade got cut, but this reasoning was dumb. Okay, so the original excuse for Blade was the producer felt like, even though they had made Blade, and if you have seen the DLC ending for Jill, he's actually in it, but their reasoning was they felt like they had too many people who could be considered swordsmen at that time. And I'm just sitting up here thinking, are you fucking serious?
Dante, Virgil, Deadpool, Zero, Strider.
No. That's true, mind you. But here's the thing: Blade uses guns, swords, literal metal stakes, and even though he didn't in the comics, he has a chain whip. He could have been so much more than a fucking swordsman, but they didn't look deep enough. Oh my God, it's almost depressing. Anyways, fuck. It hurts my soul. But hey, I went on to Twitter because I don't know if you know, but the assistant producer for the game is an MLG person by the name of Peter Combo Fiend Rosas.
How do you not know that?
Yeah, you can look him up on Twitter. And also Capcom Fighting Game Community, which is run by Capcom, and Capcom UK and Europe have their own Twitters. I tag all them bitches at least once every 2 weeks, and I say, look, here's what I want to see. I don't care if it's DLC. Can I please get this character? Can I please get that character? Or here's a good reason someone could come into this game via the story mode. Bug them, man. Fucking bug them. They see that shit. They don't comment, but they see that shit. Peter Combo Fiend Rosas even said he checked what if wish list for a solid 2 months on characters that people would like to see. 2 months. They're listening, or in this case, they're reading. And remember, this game is being made with in-house by Capcom, which is fucking rare in general. So there's no better person to tell really than Capcom. All right. Now the final topic. Let me make sure I phrase this right. Hypothetically speaking, if Marvel vs. Capcom 4, also known as in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinity, is successful, and a Switch version comes out, do you think they're going to make amiibos for every character? Why or why not?
That one's tricky because for me, for them to have amiibos would be the same thing they did for Smash Bros. And actually have something more in game for the characters to match. Because with the amiibos, I can boost them with items abilities. And even though there's a Smash Run and Smash Tour they have in the new Smash Bros, I can still beef up my character to at least somewhat match the monster I have created. Now, if it's gonna be like what they did with Splatoon, and the only thing you get is bullshit, and you're just getting really cash grabbing, just me having some shitty items in game, that's not worth it at all. But I feel like they might do it just to keep up the, if they do bring it to the Switch, to keep up the merchandise, or at least have a reason to have another cash grab.
From what we've been told so far, there is a toy line coming out, kind of sort of with a nostalgia feel. I don't know if you remember this, but when X-Men vs. Street Fighter first hit the scene, as well as Marvel vs. Capcom, no, it was X-Men vs. Street Fighter, they made a versus toy series, and it was beautiful. You got a picture of the background stage in a box, and you got two characters, one Marvel, one Capcom, and the goal was basically to have kids pretend to fight with the characters. Now, for me, I feel like, yeah, there will be amiibos, but I don't know what format. Personally, I prefer cards just because I'm tired of fucking dealing with scalpers. I am genuinely tired of dealing with fucking scalpers. I'm to the point where I'm buying bootlegs. I'll admit it. I am buying bootleg amiibos because I can't get them from fucking Nintendo. And I know it's not their fault, but at the same time, you know, if they just hop online and they started banning people who were scalping or not following terms of service they could put on the amiibos about pricing and shit, it'd make me feel a lot better. But I digress. If they make a card, or what I would like them to do hypothetically, pay attention if you're listening, Capcom, make an amiibo card. First off, make the actual game on the Switch with as many of the outfits already on this DLC. Now, normally, fuck on this DLC, but in this case, this is a situation where I was talking about earlier. You can use it in a method that helps people offline and online both gain access to the DLC. Because what can happen is they can just buy the card packs. We'll say divide them up into 5 packs. X amount of these characters are guaranteed to be in this pack. Maybe 1 or 2 is shiny, so you know you can still get your collectible thing on. And you know, keep going down the line in those 5 packs. But they always have these particular characters in them. You could even read the back of the bitch, know which characters you're getting in them. Or hell, put them on the front of the package. And then people who don't have access to online, boop, they can touch their card to that right analog stick and they can get the alternate outfit to the character. All of them right there. That would be a beautiful day. Of course, this is Capcom we're talking about, so we know that's not going to fucking happen. Or at least they could take it down the alternate path. The amiibos don't actually do anything right now, or they can make it like Smash Brothers later on. They can make it an AI mode where the characters or the AI learns from fighting against the same character type, and you could possibly take them online and do like an amiibo cockfighting thing. YouTube it. It's actually pretty funny. Amiibo cockfights. As a matter of fact, there are even some amiibos that are so powerful or got so smart, they could actually win tournaments almost. One amiibo in particular, a Fox amiibo, like you didn't see that coming, it's called Wave Shine, and it took 3rd place in an MLG tournament. 3rd fucking place. Ain't that shit crazy? Also, if it does come out for the Switch, I really hope they introduce some new type of Joy-Cons or third-party Joy-Cons become a thing, because that controller's Joy-Cons, even if they're in the grip, that controller is not meant for fucking fighting games in the slightest. You gotta fucking Switch Hill. You know that with the exception of ARMS, that controller is not meant for a fighting game of any kind. Unless I'm wrong. Can you think of any fighting games that shit could work for?
No. Those controllers are small. And if you want to try... I wanted to fuck around because there's some racing game I have on my Switch. I'm like, you know what? how does the two-player function work if you only have two Joy-Cons? I regretted it for YouTube because I turned my half a controller into 1/4 of a controller.
So true. And then let's be honest, fucking hopefully by then they'll have come down on that price on a Pro controller, or someone else will make a Pro controller, because that shit is, it's almost as much as a fucking arcade stick.
I haven't seen it.
The Pro controller is $89.90 fucking 9.
What is it?
The Pro controller for the Switch is, it's not ugly, it's very durable, and it's got grips on it. But the thing is that as it stands right now, there are no games that really warrant its use, and they want damn near $90 fucking dollars for it. Like, let's back up a second, Nintendo. Seriously, one Joy-Con by itself is what, $79 or $69.99? One. And then yeah, try to Google to look up some of this shit.
I did.
Yeah, and then the pair is not 99. The pair of Joy-Cons is 89. And then you want the comfort grips. The comfort grip for a Joy-Con is like 20. Or you get the optional little slap band for the L and R buttons, even though there are already L and R buttons there. Those are like $10. I'm just like, Nintendo, if you get a complete and total loadout for one person, that's $299 for the Switch. That's $19.99. No, that's $9.99 for the L and R bands. By the way, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but somebody fucking up hard. Apparently, people so stupid they couldn't figure out how to get the bands off. Nintendo had to make instructional videos on how to take those little L and R bands on and off. I'm not even joking. They've made official videos on how to take a piece of a controller off. Holy shit, how stupid are we getting? That's really sad.
Have to buy these controllers.
Like, I don't even find it funny. I genuinely feel sad that people can't figure shit out, even though I promise you instructions probably come in the box. So the Switch is $299. The L and R button slabs are $9.99. The grip for a single Joy-Con is $19.99. And I think it comes in a 2-pack, but if it don't, that's $20 times 2. And then a Pro controller is $89.99. Let me throw that shit in the calculator real quick so I can just depress myself. Okay, so $299 for the Switch. Plus, how much is a single Joy-Con?
Let me Google that.
Well, let me add the grip. The grips I know. The Joy-Con grip is $19.99.
Oh,
the
the price is terrible.
The little slab is $9.99. Did you find it?
Like a single Joy-Con is $49.99.
How much?
Well, one of the Nintendo Joy-Con wireless controller, gray, $49.99.
Okay, and how much is the double pack?
It seems like that's for gray, but okay. Yeah. It can range from $85 to $90.
We're gonna say
what colors you want.
We're gonna say $85.99 plus a game. We'll say $49.99. Okay, just for all that alone for one person, no extra bullshit. $465.95. You know, a part of me thinks that the reason that they kept the price down on the system was because they knew the accessories was going to cost too goddamn much. I like how they always trying to advertise, oh, hey, you're getting 2 controllers out of the box. No, you're not. You're getting one controller that can split into 2. And it only splits into 2 on some games, not all the games. just fucking, I don't know how to feel about that one. I really don't. It irks me, but I know it's not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, it looks like Nintendo squashed some of the rumors. Oh, last little bit of news thing. It looks like Nintendo squashed some of the rumors in regards to a new handheld coming out. And it looks like we got a replacement rumor, which like we didn't see coming, of there being an actual just upgrade feature or a special device that can increase or enhance shit in regards to the Switch, possibly coming out near the end of 2018. Now, there is no official proof to any of this shit, and as you know, Nintendo's official stance on any comments or rumors is no comment. But I can kind of sort of see it happening, because they said that the Switch would be a family of devices, but when they got asked to clarify, did you mean shit like the controllers and, you know, accompanying accessories for the system directly, they said no comment. So my only thought was they mean like there might be some other types of Switches in the future, which isn't uncommon for any system really. Everybody's going through multiple iterations, especially if your console sells. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. You got anything else in the tank?
Nope.
Okay. Well, on to our final little segment. It'll be a quickie. And it's called What You Been Watching. We don't do it often. Some people think it's just a filler segment. I prefer to think of it as that segment that I would like to do more often, but I keep fucking forgetting. For me, it is the ever popular, the ever quiet Samurai Jack. Watch out. Samurai Jack, watch out, just recently had its final season after a goddamn 13-year fucking wait, really. And yeah, for those of you who completely missed out on it or wasn't aware of it, going from season 4 to season 5, there's a 50-year time gap. But everything does get resolved in the end. I'm not going to spoil that final season for you if you get to see it. Unfortunately, they took a casualty, which they didn't have to, being the comic books. So the comic books are no longer canon, even though they could have easily fit the shit in, and I'm kind of sad about that. And it ended exactly how the first episode was supposed to end. Jack beat Aku. But everything in between, I'll leave to you guys to find and see. But if you ever remember the perfect era of the cartoons, when Cartoon Network was just competition for anybody who had a premium Cartoon Network, it's going to pull at your heart in some way, shape, or form. And if it doesn't, and you love the show, then you're a cold, unfeeling bastard. And I hope you find a way to find love, because you are empty on the inside. What about you, Hill? What you been watching?
Well, about most things people around the age of 15 watch right now, Steven Universe.
That show has an age range you wouldn't believe. So I'll take it the new season started?
It slowly started based off of depending on where you are, because I'm at the part where Steven can use his powers. Most of you who are watching or listening it probably haven't seen it and want to know what a cheeseburger backpack is.
Okay.
Show's too good.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that pretty much wraps this shit up. Okay, this has been another exciting episode of Token Games Podcast. Feel free to make it to our mini NES giveaway. As it stands right now, unless something else changes, it'll be the first Saturday in June, aka June 2nd. And it'll be from about 6 to 8. And yes, you don't have to enter the tournament if you don't want to. There is an entry fee, but that's all you got to pay. And also, feel free to hit up the bar. Make sure you tip your local waiter. They're cool people. All right. I will see you guys when I see y'all.